My boyfriend, M40, tried to have sex with me, F25, after I said no. What next? My boyfriend and I have been together for 10 months and have a very active sex life, sorry for the TMI. On Saturday, we drank a bit too much and fell asleep on the sofa until 4 a.m. We woke up and went upstairs to bed. He said, "Can I have sex with you?" Which I found weird, as it seemed the act was going to be done to me rather than shared. I said no, let's wait until the morning, it's 4 a.m. and I'm tired. He whined, huffed and puffed and turned over and said fine. No more than 5 minutes later, he turned over and started kissing me and cuddling me, to which I just thought he was snuggly down. He then proceeded to climb on top of me. I was lying on my back and he spread my legs apart with his feet. I was pretty stunned and said, "What are you doing?" I said no, get off. To which he did, again complaining. He went to the bathroom, came back and gave me his back all night. The next day I mentioned it gently and he said, "I thought you changed your mind." For the rest of the weekend, I was pretty pissed off but kept quiet so as not to cause an argument as he becomes defensive and then gets in a strop, which I hate. I'm a pretty reasonable and, to my detriment, a passive person. But this whole situation makes my blood boil. The following day, we were meant to meet a mutual friend for a drink. He was dozing on the sofa. The friend called and asked if we were still coming as we were 30 minutes late. He said he couldn't be bothered, but said to me, "If I take you to the pub and buy you a few drinks, will you let me in your knickers?" We usually joke and have a flirt with each other, but he has never said anything to this extreme before. When I told him I was upset about this, he said it's just a joke. Why can't you just tell me to stop being a dirty git instead of it being a big deal? I was meant to take him out for his birthday tonight, all pre-planned, and felt angry about doing this and no longer wanted to. I called him last night to calmly talk about what happened. I said, "You didn't respect me, why did you cross my boundary?" To which his response was, "Nothing happened, so why does it matter? I got off you after you said no. I don't remember spreading your legs apart, I was just cuddling. I haven't even thought about it. I thought I could try my luck. I'm sorry you feel like that." I said, "So just because you didn't penetrate me, it's all okay?" To which he didn't say anything. I said, "You don't respect me," and he said, "Yes I do. I've proven that to you. I'm nice to you, aren't I?" We argued back and forth and he said, "I'm actually in the middle of watching a film with my dad." So I told him to go back to it, as that's so important, and hung up. I feel violated and like a piece of meat or arm candy, especially with the age gap. What concerns me is that when I spoke to him about this stuff he completely dismissed me and tried to turn it around. He texted me and said, "Sorry for upsetting you." I'm ignoring him. I'm worried I'm blowing this out of proportion as this has never happened before. What now? Too long did not read. Boyfriend ignored my boundaries. He is 15 years older than you. Women his age won't fall for this crap. No means no, and he's acting like a 16-year-old for not getting his way. Is this what you want forever? Lot of words to say. Attempted rape. The age gap is there because he knows most women his age would never put up with his behavior. You are not overreacting. This doesn't look good and you're only months in. My guess is you'll be seeing a lot more disrespect and escalations of behavior if you stick around. You dump him and find someone who respects you more than you would a sex doll, because WTF. I'm sorry. A man almost double your age and you're shocked that he's a weirdo? Come on. You're not blowing it out of proportion. You know that a decent person would have A, not have done that in the first place, and B, if they had, would have apologized profusely, and felt terrible, not tried to gaslight you into thinking it wasn't a big deal actually, and B, I thought I could try my luck. Listen to your gut, it's telling you something to protect you. 32M, 35F. I do not want to move in with my fiancé anymore. How do we approach this now? I 35F have a teen child from previous relationship. Fiancé 32M and I got engaged last year and want, Ed, to get married next year. We both currently live with our respective family in very similar large houses and properties 1 hour, 50 miles from each other. My retirement age parents own a duplex property that has been well maintained, has a pool, garden, second house, duplex where I live. The front house bedrooms are custom-sized 14 by 14 female, and there's a bathhouse outside for the pool. My parents have done all the renovations themselves. They want to move out of state, and would sell the house if they move. It's my childhood home, so I would be sad, especially since I love the custom pool and large property and have tons of fun childhood memories of putting the floors, windows, pool, pond, garden, and second house in. But I also understand change happens. Fiancé takes care of his elderly father, who cannot live alone, and has willed his childhood home, which is completely paid off. Father occupies the master. I had been to the house multiple times and knew it needed some TLC. New floors are a must, and some repairs, new appliances. The outside needs to be cleaned up, mowed. It already needed a bit of work which I was open to. We had talked about putting a pool in, eventually. We have gone back and forth on the plan to move and I have been open to moving there, but he has not been open to much else. Fiancé's father recently was hospitalized and will be discharged soon. I asked in the meantime to see the other 2 bedrooms, middle bedroom and master, to see what other work would need, and what my son and I would eventually move into. There is mold everywhere, and those rooms are borderline hoarding situations, with lots of boxes and stuff up the walls, and dust that has been there a decade it seems. They have had dogs that have destroyed part of drywall, the floors are original 1980 carpet and linoleum, and I believe the HVAC needs to be redone because of the mold. The main living areas are not nearly like these other bedrooms, so it was a bit of shock. I have no idea what to do. I broke down because it will need significant other much work and I can't in good conscience move my teen from our clean, maintained childhood home into a potential biohazard major fixer-upper. I wanted to try for a baby right away after the wedding and I can't have a baby in a house with so much work. I told fiancé all of this and he shut down. He does not want to sell the house. I gave multiple options despite his wishes not to sell. My son and I can move into a nearby apartment while renovations happen. I suggested us all moving elsewhere, but fiancé father won't move, he says. I believe he wants to live there until end of life, which could still be 10 months or 10 years. I suggested us moving elsewhere and fiancé's father getting a live-in nurse, but that will all be out-of-pocket home health care. They also have family only 15 minutes away from my parents' house, so I suggested his dad could live with his daughter, fiancé's sister and fiancé could live with me while we work on the renovations. Or, I suggested possibly selling the house as is, and buying my parents' house, giving his dad the back duplex, and my parents could move out of state like they want to. I understand that's a very selfish thing since I would get to keep my son's childhood home and fiancé wouldn't. I fear moving in with him, I will be taking on most of the work of renovations of fiancé's house, which I do not want to live in until it is clean and safe to do so. So this would mean leaving my household during the weeks and weekends to go clean and work on his house, on top of work, a teenager, and planning a wedding, which I am now considering postponing as well. Edit. This is not his house, but this post has very similar pictures. I have sent him a ton of links to mold inspection and remediation, and he says he doesn't want to talk about it right now. I understand, but we are also on a timeline with getting married. I feel like everything he tells me is just empty promises that will never get done. We have been together for 3 years and he still hasn't made space for me to come over to his house. I sleep on a couch when I do go over, and now a year away from being married and it's in disrepair and I feel like I will have to take it on myself. I don't know what to do next. He's had 3 years to fix up things. He is not going to. It will be all on you and he will resent you for it. Stay where you are. Ideally buy your parents' place and rent out the back. If your boyfriend gets his shit together, then you can discuss living arrangements. For now stay where you're happy and healthy. Do not take this on for him. Postpone the wedding. Is there a reason you're ignoring an entire parade of red flags and are proceeding with marriage? He's like this. Get married and he'll be like this. You can't say you weren't warned. You're a mom, so you need to put your child's health, safety, and happiness first. You know you can't move your child in there, but you need to know that you deserve better than this as well. This house and caregiving situation sound like a nightmare and your fiancé has given you 3 years of evidence that it's not going to change. You sleep on a couch when you are over there? No. Also, I don't care what's in the will. Wills can be changed at any time. From an internet aunt, don't you dare put time, effort, and money into a house when your name is not in the deed. And don't bring a baby into this mess. What's the pressure of moving at all? If you don't have a house to move to, which you don't, then why is it an option that you're entertaining? Make some demands here. Your present and future children need you to prioritize correctly. He clearly doesn't prioritize you, or else he'd be busy fixing up the place. He should be ecstatic and eager for you to come. The fact that he prioritizes differently tells you a little about who he is. It seems logical to even move into your place while the other place has work done while you guys figure out which to move forward with. If he isn't willing to meet you a little or budge, that should tell you right there that only his opinion, feelings matter. Not yours or your son's. He may not realize this or mean to be doing it intentional, but this is when you decide, is this the type of marriage you want? Or no. Best of luck. Do not get married to your fiancé. Keep your money and energy. Can you buy the home your parents live in? How can I, 27F, convince my husband, 29M, that I didn't cheat on him? Apologies for the throwaway account, but I have too many family members and colleagues that know my main account and I will be keeping something vague for privacy. It's basically as my title says. A friend kissed me in our kitchen and my husband saw. My husband, for this post I'll call him John, and I have been married for 2 years now, together for 5 years. I love him more than anything. He is more than I deserve. To me he is perfect. I don't mean to prop him up, but he is everything and more I have ever wanted in a partner. I have never cheated on my husband and never even thought about it. I have not flirted with anyone and I keep myself out of situation that can be misinterpreted by anyone's. Friday night we had a barbecue at our house, and we invited a couple of friends. One of the people that we invited was the brother of my best friend, I'll call him Dan for this post, and my best friend, his sister, I'll call Ellen. Dan and I aren't close, I'll call him a friend, but like distant friends, not really close. I got to know him during my friendship with Ellen. We also got to talking the last couple of weeks as he is wanting to transition to a similar field I'm in, and Ellen asked me to help him out. I didn't see a problem with it as I was in that field for a brief period and until I switched over to the management side, so I have a lot of insight. I have to add, all our text was about work, his transition from one to the other, what he needs to do, look out for nothing inappropriate, no late night talks or flirting, nothing. I did tell my husband about it and no Reddit, it's not that I had to check in with him or inform him I'm talking to another man. He asked how my day was and I told him about Ellen request. He didn't pry or anything, but in the interest of transparency and me needing advice, my husband did say to be on my guard around Dan. I did ask him why, and he said he just doesn't trust Dan, no specific reason as to why, just a feeling on his part. Like I said, we had a barbecue and I was in the kitchen busy. Dan was in the kitchen with me and we were talking about work because he was actively in the transition and I was out clearing something up for him that will be required. Out of nowhere Dan came up to me and kissed me right at the moment my husband came into the kitchen from the backyard. I completely froze up. I don't know if Dan timed it or what, but looking back it doesn't make sense to me. My husband grabbed Dan and threw him around the kitchen. It took two of the guys to get John off of Dan. My husband really hurt him. After that the barbecue was ruined, and Ellen took Dan home. Don't know what is currently going on as Ellen isn't answering my calls or text and I blocked Dan number. Here is my dilemma. My husband hasn't been himself at all. He is completely quiet and shut off. He hasn't blamed me, he hasn't accused me of cheating or doing anything inappropriate, he hasn't asked about any of my interactions with Dan, or to see the text which I still have. I haven't deleted anything from any of our conversation. He isn't angry at me, he isn't short with me, he hasn't yelled at me, nothing. Although John hasn't accused me or anything, I have found him observing me like a hawk on multiple occasions. It's almost as if every move of mine is being studied. I know I need to talk to him about the situation and it's on me for not doing that yet. I just don't know how to go about it without it looking like damage control. I need seriously help. Good start is don't in any way be apologetic for Dan, even brainstorming out loud, don't take devil's advocate. Dan has to be a filthy predator. Also appreciate your husband's reaction. Whatever your personal feelings on aggressive behavior are, Dan deserves it as far as you are concerned. Give him confidence that you were attacked and therefore appreciate being defended. You were right about Dan. Thank you for protecting me. I love you. Also, Ellen not answering your calls is super suspicious. I'd leave her alone. Sounds like your husband is checking out and is just biding his time until he finds a good divorce lawyer. I would sit him down and have a talk. It's going to be super uncomfortable and he may ask you to cut off your best friend and her brother, and you absolutely should full score. The fact that your best friend is ignoring your calls and text shows that she is going to stick with her brother, and I'm sure he told her a different story than what you wrote out here. This is going to get messy fast and I'm sure there will be multiple versions of this story, but you need to talk with your husband first before he hears a twisted version of the story. Best of luck, op. Could it be Ellen doesn't like your husband or is jealous of your marriage? Could she have encouraged Dan, telling him you weren't happy? Think about it. No Ellen, no introduction to Dan. No perfectly timed kiss. Stop calling Dan a friend, he's a predator who's related your friend. Firstly, Ellen is not your friend and her actions shows that. Also, don't feel bad that your husband beat Dan, he deserved it, he is a predator, not your friend. You should honestly report him to the police. My husband, 24M, wants to divorce me, 24F. When he's angry but then apologizes when he's not. Will this get better? Has anyone had a successful marriage trying to deal with someone like this? Backstory. My husband and I have been married for 4 months. We've dealt with a lot of trauma that has brewed in our relationship over time, and as soon as I think things get better we have an argument and they get worse. Today my husband packed my stuff up in trash bags and said he was done with me and wanted me and our 2-month daughter out of the house. He got angry because I told him he has yet to change, and he told me I was the reason why he can't be a better person. His reasoning was because I just remind him of how horrible he is. The truth is, when my husband gets angry he is a horrible person. Today he got angry and was blocking my way out of the room just to trap me in, to tell me how much he didn't want to see me again and he was done with me. He then grabbed all my stuff and started to pack them in trash bags. Our daughter starts crying as he's tossing my stuff in the living room. He then grabs the car keys and slams them on my chest as he pushes me and tells me to leave. I tell him he hurt me and I start to cry. I start feeding our daughter as he continues to put my stuff in trash bags and tells me I'll be hearing from his lawyers. I stay to feed the baby and ask his brother to leave so I can speak to him. I ask him to come sit next to me and ask him if he really wants to divorce me. His answer was yes. He said he wanted to divorce me because he didn't want this argument to be used as another example of how horrible he is. I reassure him that I don't think he's horrible, I just think he has an unresolved anger issue that is hurting me. I keep reassuring him and he apologizes and says he actually doesn't want a divorce. He did the same thing on Mother's Day. As he was telling me he didn't love me and wanted me to leave, I held him and told him I loved him and I was here for him. It took my parents coming over for him to feel sorry. I'm completely heartbroken right now. I feel so unwanted. The truth is I don't trust that my husband will change. I'm scared that he will threaten me with the divorce again. I feel so insecure and defeated in this marriage, but I don't want to give up because I love my husband. This isn't love, it's emotional abuse. Packing your stuff, pushing you, threatening divorce, then apologizing? That's a toxic cycle. You and your baby deserve peace and safety, not walking on eggshells. Love isn't supposed to hurt like this. Get out. My man-child ex used to do this. It also started early in our marriage. After several times of going through this, I told him that the next time he played the divorce card he better mean it because that's what he would get. That's what he got. The very next time he said it, I told him to get out and he was literally on his knees begging me to change my mind. I filed for divorce. I hear he has been married and divorced again. This is not the environment you want to raise your baby in. At this point, why stick around if he is going to hold your marriage hostage? If he is getting angry to the point he wants to throw you and his daughter out of the home, why would you put up with that? Your daughter should be the #1 priority, and this level of abuse is going to distort her frame of reference of what a healthy marriage looks like. Girl, believe him. He's a horrible man and he doesn't love you, he wants to divorce you. If you're not thinking about your well-being, think about your child. You're exposing your baby to domestic violences. Leave him. This is 4 months in. Imagine 4 years, 24 years later. This is going to get worse. Leave now. This is not something that he will easily change, and this is going to continue and get worse. Why are you begging for love from an abuser, who uses your need for validation as a weapon against you? And why are you exposing your daughter to this? You say yourself that your husband is angry often, is a horrible person, and doesn't change. He's taking no accountability for his actions, blames you, and literally throws your things out while you're feeding your infant. He may back off a bit when he sees you upset, but then he reverts right back to his terrible behaviors. This is who he is and will always be. This will not get better. You are fooling yourself if you stay. You are putting yourself and your daughter in danger if you stay.